but kind of running late today. But I definitely wanted to come in and get some questions from you guys. If you had any questions or anything that was on your mind this week. I really appreciate all the subscribers and viewers of this channel. I know that we've been a little slower. I think there's been a little bit of shadow banning on my channel. I guess due to the fact that I just consistently am focusing on politics and President Trump especially, and a lot of things that you aren't going to hear on the mainstream media, obviously. But thank you all for coming. Truth Seeker, hello from Central San Joaquin Valley in California. Thank you for coming to this chat. Jim Barber, are you a Trump supporter? Yes, I am. I actually personally do not vote, but I do support a lot of what President Trump is doing. Even though if you've seen in quite a few of my videos, it's basically just a corporation fighting another corporation, and Trump just represents a certain entity, and they're spreading. As you can see in my last couple videos, actually Europe is exploding now with Trump support, especially in France, Hungary, and Italy, and actually Poland is already pretty much set and done. If you've seen, even on the mainstream media, some of the advertisements and the Polish people themselves are actually thanking Trump for what he's doing to America, because it's showing the rest of the world what can be possible. Paradox, I guess, Parad OX. The closer to 100,000 subscribers you get, the harder YouTube will come down on you. Well, we'll see. I've honestly never thought that subscribers was that important. Maybe I can, how many subscribers I had, because a lot of times this is based on Google. And actually, that's what I wanted to kind of talk about with everybody. Once I start to see people coming on, and I'll start to see questions. I've started a few websites that I'm building at this point, but I'm really going to go into promotion and do a lot of really positive articles on things that I know are happening and so forth. Obviously, the first one's called Conservatives Press with an S, Conservatives with an S. I think you guys have seen that. That's coming out. And then also Screen Hoopla News. So, yes, I understand once you have 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, it probably becomes more difficult. But what I'm really going to do is expand my own reach, and they really can't do anything about it. As you've probably seen, what's going to happen here, because of what President Trump is actually doing, is with Ginsburg even. She is probably not going to be a Supreme Court justice for very much longer. And one of the videos I had out this last week, it was talking about there's an actual criminal case, not a criminal case, but a case coming out of New York. And it has to do with, shadow banning and social media. And President Trump is putting these judges in, especially the Supreme Court judges, because things are going to change. Our First Amendment rights are going to be kept intact, and these social media giants are not going to be able to really do anything about it. And if they do, say like Facebook or YouTube or Google, they're going to pay for it. They're going to have attorneys lined up going up against them with a lot of these creators that are fed up with, basically trying to block and shadow ban. So just that's kind of a little heads up that's coming out very soon in the next couple of weeks. Frankie Z, thanks Frankie Z for coming to the chat. Declassified this week, yes. Hugh says, biggest week of our lives. Well, it always seems to happen before Thanksgiving, doesn't it? But obviously, this is about after what's happening after Thanksgiving and the G20 summit, as you guys probably noticed, in Argentina, I believe it is. And I think President Trump has already set a meeting and a date with President Putin of Russia. So they're going to hash out a few things. If you saw one of my last videos the last couple of days, it really talks about what a majority of America and some of Europe and some of other parts of the world are on a financial system, whereas Russia has separated themselves and they are in a different financial system. And and it's a blockchain system as far as I know within Russia. And I think President Putin has done that because he didn't want other countries like the United States and the so-called embargoes to hurt his country ever again. So I think they're going to talk a lot about that. So yes, Frankie Z, I think a lot of things are going to come out here pretty quickly because President Trump actually has the majority of the power. No matter what the Democrats have thought, they're not going to have as much power because they're just in the House. And Nancy Pelosi has been in the House for almost probably right at 30 years. She has done nothing other than destroy things, with Obamacare and so forth. And they basically are just in there to make themselves financially stronger. Obviously, they're weaker when they go in, but they're stronger, and they're still in there for some funny reason. Getting close to 80 years old. I think Waters is 80 years old. Why is she still here? And Ginsburg is the same way. The poor lady looks like she just can't even stay awake. The land of 420. Ginsburg supports lowering the age of consent to 12. Well, unfortunately, probably about 100 years ago, it was like that, with the world and the way it was, men at age 30 and 40 marrying young women that were 14, 15, 16 years old and having 10, 12 kids. Well, I think, it's come a time that, younger people are just not emotionally ready or physically ready. And I don't think that's right at all. I think she's crazy if it's really that young, 12 years old. I mean, 18 is perfectly fine to me. I think that's the best age. Otherwise they're considered children to me. So, Crypto Knight, thanks for coming to the chat. Any thoughts on what Q means by placeholder? Honestly, I don't really understand that very well. I haven't looked into that quite enough yet. And that's probably why I don't really, make any videos on things like that, because I just don't know some of those things. If I can't research it enough to where I can figure out things, and believe me, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of places you can go to research, but it takes hours and hours to do. So, and I don't have a group of people helping me. I'm just here by myself. And yes, I have built this channel up to almost 90,000 subscribers pretty much by myself. But anyway, it's really just what I can do on a daily basis. And I know I go to certain places to attain articles and get some of the research that I can, but it's because I trust some of those places that at least some of it is actually what we need to see and hear. So, but thank you for that, Crypto Knight. Thank you for coming to the chat. Teresa S., what are we talking about? Well, this is just a general place where you can come to chat about things, and I might, if I can see your question, it goes pretty fast, but if I can see your question, I'll try to answer it. If I can't, we can converse about it through chat. Honestly, guys, I really don't like the new thing that they've come out with, the thing here on YouTube with the presentation or whatever it is, whatever they call it. I still like the kind of old-fashioned way of just speaking and chatting with you that way, and getting your 2 cents on things. Gitmo Holiday, thanks for coming to the chat. He says refugees in Europe are married with 13-year-olds. Governments give them free housing and whatnot. Well, like I said earlier, if you didn't get here in time, President Trump and his Trumpism, if you saw my last few videos, is really starting to spread around Europe. I think even Trump got into it with the president of France a couple days ago, maybe yesterday, about the president of France wanting to, Macron, I think he wants to develop or produce or create a European army. And President Trump wasn't really happy with that because of what's really going on over there. The liberal agenda, even in France, is changing because of what Trump is doing with America and what people see around the world is happening, especially to our economy. So, Crypto Knight, thanks for that. I appreciate the sharing, guys. Is the best thing you could do. That's also what I'm doing. I'm going to be blanketed across 40 different social media platforms. That's what I'm building at this point because I want to bring truth as much as I can. You don't see what I talk about on the mainstream media. They're not going to talk about this stuff because they'll say that, well, it's not documented or we can't prove it. Well, you've got the CNN reporter over there giving his opinion to President Trump in front of everybody. And the last time I checked, CNN and those other news outlets were there for facts. They were there to find the facts, not to give their opinions about things. So, I don't want to be opinionated either. I want to bring you the best stories that I can because that's all they really are. News is specific news. Somebody got shot, in downtown Las Vegas or whatever. That's news. I can't really do that at this point, but what I can do is reveal some things to you that you may not have known before. So, Jojo Dancer, thanks for coming to the chat, Jojo. Do you know about the world currency reset? Well, I've been watching a lady. I can't remember her name, but she's kind of not famous, but then again, she is. She used to work for the World Bank, and she's been talking about that for years. I've been watching her for 3 or 4 years, and she's very cryptic and very specific. So sometimes I don't quite understand what she's talking about, but I do know that there are entities, good entities, that are trying to offset and readjust what the Reserve Bank has been trying to do for, the past 100 years.